Tagbo dayon siya. Suga yo tanawa. Tingin suga. Hi, Babang Tampans. Hello. Lingon. Sa bula good. Mitanday ka wala mo. Hi, Silvana Isma from Jakarta, Indonesia. Hello, Babang. Nice meeting you. From Jakarta, Indonesia. Priyanta, hello. Good afternoon. Priyanta. Hi. Ikaw lang ang tinitibok ng puso kong ito. Palagi ka na lang darasal. Nihintay kita ng kahit tagal. Ano? Lawa! Laki mo na! Ay, manhatan ako sa gawas niya. Nag-charge pa man di ay ko. Maybe it is. Silvana Man. Aracel. Hello, Leticia. Good afternoon. What's up, everyone? Double tap your screen, guys, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Ang isa ka sandal ako dire. Mingkoy! Mingming! 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 Igwit oh, igwit! Nadili na baby si Mingkay na ko, guys. Big na kay siya. Tapos daga na po kayo may gulingon og ba. My God. La 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 la. Look. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hello, Dwi Ramat. Hello, want to eat?
Siyam na lang po piso.
Lit na, ginan betaw pa na ako.
Magluya man ko to dili ko niya.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Mary Ann Fatima Zabra. Do you like what you see, Miguelero? Hello, Miguel. My love, how are you? Hello, Miguel. Good afternoon. I'm fine. Ambi ako isa ka kuan ba? Stan.
Happy Sunday, tanan! Kumusta ang inyong mga Sunday? We're here to do...
I like everything about TY. Ang sip mo'y litong-lito sa mga panahong nais kong malimot. Nais bang bumabalakit sa iyong mundong ginagalawan?
Clean up your Jeep.
Suliranin, hindi mapigilan. Hindi mo lang sa iyong puso, kaya mo yan. Pagkabigot, alilangan, gumugulo sa isipan. Mga pagsubok lamang yan, huwag mo itigil ang laban. Huwag mong isuko at yung labanan. Bakit ba bumabalakit iyong mundong ginagalawan? Suliranin, di mapigilan. Lumulong sa iyong puso, kaya mo yan. Pagkabigot, alilangan, gumugulo sa isipan. Mga pagsubok lamang yan, huwag mong tigil ang laban. Hello, Giancarlos. Jose Yudo, hello. They are well cared for. They are well cared for. Like everything about. I am from Indonesia. Hello, Dwi Rahmat. Nice meeting you. Ambis ako isa ka stand ba? Sa naman taon ka, uy. Huwag man kay sugong di ka magyaw-yaw. Narunga ko na desisyon nimo. Huwag kay gibuhat. Kaya mo yan. Pagkabigot, alilangan, gugulo sa isipan. Mga pagsubok lamang yan, huwag mong itigil ang laban. Toy Helmuto. I will love you. I promise you this. I am from Indonesia. Right beside you. I give my last breath from this moment. You're the reason I believe in love. Can't wait to be always not in love the way it's done. All we need is just the two of us. Dreams can be true because you're the reason I believe in love. Every way to view is nothing left. Let's start. Oh, we need is just the two of us.
Ano?
Kisa na? Kisa na, si? Nga naman. Diya kaluto ni mo, Je? Sama ni mo, lami mong sudan? Di sudan ninyo, lami mong sudan, Je? Hello, Piki Piki. Sunday, hello. Otto, hello, good afternoon. 105 is number that comes to my head. When I think of all the years I'm gonna be with you. Wake up every morning with you in my bed. That's precisely what I plan to do. And you know one of these days, when I get my money right, buy you everything and show you all the finer things in life. We'll forever be in love, so there ain't no need to rush. One day won't be able to, I'm still loud enough. I'll see, will you marry me? I swear that I'll remain and I'll say, will you marry me? I swear that I'll remain and I'll say, I didn't know one of these days, when I get my money right, buy you everything and show you all the finer things in life. We'll forever be in love, so there ain't no need to rush. I'm doing live. One day won't be able, I'm still not enough. I'll see, will you marry me? I swear that I'll remain and I'll say, will you marry me? Oh, 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 oh. How many girls in the world can make me feel like this? Maybe I don't even have to fly. Don't I know the reasons why you're the love of my life. And you know one of these days, when I get my money right, buy you everything and show you all the finer things in life. You'll forever be in love, so there ain't no need to rush. But one day won't be able, I still not enough. I'll see, will you marry me? Swear that I'll remain and I'll say 105 is the number that comes to my head. The more I find the reasons why you're the love of my life. And you know one of these days, when I get my money right, buy you everything and show you all the finer things in life. We'll forever be in love, so there ain't no need to rush. One day won't be able, I'm still loud enough. I'll see, will you marry me? I swear that I will marry, I'll say, will you marry me? Whoa, whoa, whoa. How many girls in the world that make me feel like this? Maybe I don't ever have to find out. Dari, inani ba biyo? Dali ragod, inani oh. Inani oh. Inani nga pagkakuano. Inani nga pagkatambi. You're the love of my life. And you know one of these days, when I get back this. When I get my money right.
Bye.
Bye.
Ako man og kuan. Sige.
Okay, ang gibuhat kay kanang mag-picture siya daan.
O pwede ra kani.
Pero i-anak niyo.
Wala mo sa kubo.
Kani i-anak niyo mo.
Gitu.
Nagsalan niyo.
Nya. Okay.
Pero,
Nung gadagan lagi.
wala pa na, uy. Oh, hindi. Ay, okay.
Sini okay. Ni green dili mo ka. Di balik kita no?
Buy you everything, I show you all the fun and things at night. Wherever they eat. So there is no need to rush. One day won't be enough. I still
Lauma
love
dong, lauma.
see will you me
Why do you always smells like gold.
Yan ang isa, bili na kong isa.
Pinahunang sama na ron, tanaw na tamang bau-bau. Kung kaya ba, ani? Sabihin na, di kayo ni. Unat, ah. Kaya dyan eh. O sige ano? Problema pag-atras. Makaya dyan. Kurang sabihin na pamanis ako labo. Tanawa, atras. Ako yan ako, eh. Bueno. Ah. Sabihin na dyan kayo. Kaya. Pwede dyan, pwede. Kaya. Ah, grabe yan mo. Nada ba?
everybody. Happy holidays. New Year, new goals. At this time, magiging smart na ako sa pagkain. Nakita dito siningaw.
Hoy, Ruel. Paminaw ba?
Advance happy birthday, mahal. Celebrate na mo yung birthday diri para makakaunpod ang mong mga staff. Itong collection ng mga kamis. So, happy birthday, mahal. Salamat na. Hindi na lang makakaunpod sila sa birthday. Sa butuan naman good may mag-celebrate. Crispy pa kaayo. Lagi. Which may...
Tiramin ko lang, sir.
Anak mo lang guys. Huwag ipatulog.
Ya, kung kayo tester. Out, kuha.
Ay, paminaw ba? Anak ko, ikuha mo sa kanila. Pwede na siya maana. Kaningastan. Ay, anak, no?
Dagan mag-views na.
Natuon na. Mindset din. Pag may time. Sa'yo mong giluto.
Wala ay na dagan magsudan. Anong mga bata di nga mahulog.
Ah.
Paso.
Pasok sa
Amo kong paso.
tambutso. O malamang sa tambutso, sa kalayo.
Kalayo.
Dagan mong makapasok. Dari gani usay, magpakapasok ko ni usay. Makapasok ni sa kainit usahay. Nawong. Madlo ko ba mabitad yung kami.
Tantangan na. Ako ang ipindan. Lingin. Bagay ka na sa kuha.
Pag hilog diha, pambabae na. Hindi na pang lang.
Kurang na creaking ball.
Creaking ball. I'm not a creaking ball. Happy?
Pila na? 65?
5. 65, 5,
Grabe no. Dako ang paratas ko nga. Ano?
Palto eh.
Pila na nakagram.
Ang luoy gyud katong nanguha. No? Katong nanguha ba nangalot? Mayroon kay sweldo.
Per gram pa na. Pero ano na sa mga 5K. Oh, 2,000 ang gram. Hindi tahigo. Kung nakikita, palit ka itong tester. Search daw. Order sa phone. Gold tester. Gold ito.
Wailing po timbangan.
Kila.
Skill digital. Ang tipong. Pero ang sarao.
Pila.
Ako naman di ay
Pila.
247 ra.
Tuko na nga.
Ano mo? 100 grams ang 20.
100 grams. Kanang dako-dako.
Oh, mani kinadak
100 grams. Itong gamay ra. 259.
Ay 200 gram.
Ayan ay 50 kaya na. Katurang ginagma.
Na gani. 700. 700 gram to kani.
Pila na.
100 gram. 250.
250. Asa sa kagon. Kana na isudla na. Kung hindi ta laglain na.
Yan ay wala pa kayo ng baligya sa tuwa. Lumagamit ako na to na kay timbang-timbangan na to. Ito okay na nakaluwa.
Maka nang naitaklob oh. Marag naitaklob.
Moral calcul. Sunod pa ni.
Ano lang?
Ano pa man ang dawin scale increases with its precise measurements, compact design, and manipulative inclusion, making it a reliable for various tasks. Ang ganda, quality siya, hindi magaan, may weight pero hindi mabigat, accurate din naman ang lumalabas.
Pag-order. Pinamalit ang scrap.
Ano nito pinagawa mo?
Sa mga patrong eh. Inuna mo na. Isa po, patunaw ni mo niya. Scrap mga. Di nga magamit, kaya putol. Mungwan ko ano. Ilang scrap.
Naroon. Gold tested.
O ka na.
Mayroong question dito, saan daw ba ako nakakabili ng acid pang test ng ginto? Tcharan! Diyan na
Ano,
nag-start
tingnan.
ako na mag-check ng ginto or tanso.
Ano,
Ito, yung... sis, mayroong question dito.
Ito, ikaw na sa yung video.
Walay kwan, wala kayo reviews, ay wala kayo review.
Sis, baka fake ang gold mo, kaya huwag ka na magpabudol. Kasi ang dami na ngayong peking alas at mahirap malaman kung tunay yung hindi. Kaya kailangan mo na ng metal test kit. Simpleng wrap, na strap lang, malaman mo agad kung tunay. Dahil gamit tong metal test tube,
Kanina.
plus acid kit, guaranteed at safe ka.
Dili
Mabilis
man
at
nawala.
tigit na resulta. Mga sis, iwas budol na. Pagtukad mo na to habang may stock pa. Sulit at pang lifetime investment pa. Kaya kung ako sa'yo, check out mo na.
Kani kita kang reviews. Ano reviews? Kani kang review. Yan na lang eh. Kung anong namin mag-text na to. Pati ang lagi siya ko. Ay, sing-sing.
Siya isa-isa kung kamot.
9. Ako kay 6 man ni.
Nine
Nga
gid.
8 man imo ate. 8 man ni diri o 9.
Pila. 5.3 grams.
Papalit ka rin na rin ay. Sige na rin. Ako ipapalit ka tong na diri ba okay. 5 grams ra imo akong papalit tapos katong na liquid. Dabi ako ba.
Pindan.
Back to back ba? Back to back yung design. Napapalit ba ko na dito?
Ano ka?
Wala ba? Hintayin niyo ano ako. 5 grams, pwede na. Ngayon, papalit ko 21 sa inyo, 5 grams. 21 o pindan. Ay, dili na lang kaya ako magpapalit o pindan. Ay, itinki na pindan. Isa 3 grams lang. Hmm? Diyan?
Kung sa lagi ang install ni silicone.
Tawagis lang ni Colby. Katawag mga ka. Honesty, just an lonely world.
Yes. Ayan siya guys. So, ASMR. Tapos ito rin, naggawa din si mama ng sausawan. Puro butter lang yan, tsaka garlic. Nilagyan ko na maraming sili. At of course, yung lemon. Uy! Wow! Ay, pinipalik yun! Sarap. Favorite ko yun. Guys, so...
Sarap. Pakiabot na ako ng ano, kutsarita.
Ay, maganda oh.
Sarap.
Lagyan natin ito.
Ano na?
Nakrack na namin. Ano ba ito? Legs to or
Yung
kamay ng
kalamay.
wow.
Pinakamalaki.
Ito maganda dito guys. Ginutuin niya. Ay, yung sabaw. Kainin natin yung inamin natin.
Bukan.
Flavorful.
Yan.
Nagkalamay na yung isa din.
Lagyan natin lemon.
Sarap.
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 Awa oh. Paspas mi kaon litson pagkaugmaan ni taga bukid high blood me.
Wow, kasi ikaw kung mas malong lang. Amor na amor. Apil ako sige.
Awa oh.
Good morning guys. Ito na lang mga boto kay sa mga kayo. Mga taladers. Tama na na, bro.
Bro. sakit-sakit. Sakit-sakit kaya kayo. Kung ano, kinsan ka. Kinsan mo ka. Kinsan lagi ka. Pagkalang sakit ka daw sa dawan. Kaya ako nagkikala, sige-sige kayo. Hindi ang ganun sama kayo. Latuin-win o. Kadawat ko na. Sumunod ka.
Tanawa. Taan pa. Diretso na tulog. Tanawa. Ikaw na ba?
Sabi nga,
Sir, kailan po pong lumawala?
Tapos isang malaki pang ano yun. Sweet ko talaga. Kasi lang
lagi aron. Sige, mabe.
Dito, mag-flex. Problem po na ito. May display pero walang output. Ang gagawin mo.
Ron, tinuod. Unsa? Nga bibiyaan ka?
Oh, kapila mo na balik-balik ko, Noy. Oh, lagi, gibiyaan ko.
The story of my life.
Naluoy ko na mo ba? Tama daw, abon sa masawa. Wala na siya. Wala akong tampang sa masawa na wakong ka namin na. Dahil ka magaling dami. Panama ka ron. Dahil sa kapag naging kung sa dato, parang ang iro. O sila ba yung sipasulat sa dato? Ikukot sa iro ang dato. Tapos sa kapag sa langan, wala sa iro. Nung nakakita sa iro ang balay sa dato, ikuhan niya ang basura o ibuho sa sakyanan sa dato. Kung nakita sa dato ang iya sakyanan na napuno sa basura, pwede niya subuha. Wala niya yung itsura. Ang ilita pwede mo pinuhong tao kasi sa iyang itsura. Dahil sa kapag naging palabas. escort, security escort sa mga DSWD na mag-payout sa mga senior citizen. Na isa ka tigulang na ikan siya sa bukid, ibaba lang sa barangay. Mga yun kayo da, mga marisa, expect siya na marisa sa beneficiary. Wala din siya na sa list na isang payout pa din siya. Sa isang lugar ng pagmugalan to sa mululog-lula. Tapos sa mga ito na gusto ko lang po magkaroon birthday na ako February 18. Ito na mag-celebrate sa nakumbaan para lapit kayo sa feeling mong bang ganang itong makita ang ganang itong mga things mo ang mga romance itong things so especially tungkol kay wala nilang wala sila na simplize mo simple lang ang thank you ma'am dahil na nag-iwan sa namin kayo tulog kasi kasing-kasing mo.
Nothing's gonna stop us now.
Tagaan will of script sa among manager. Tagaan mo imo account sa scatter para kumuha mangilan sa mga player. Para maingan nyo ang mga tao nga mudula kaya di makatabo. Pero dili tinuod tanan. Puro bangka. Kabalo ba mo bilang offer nako para mangilan og tao? 15,000 ingon anak ka dako. 15,000 ang usa ka semana. Mao na ang ako usa na pipasulan nga gidawat og kwarta gikan sa squad. Dili makaya sa akong konsensya maong ihawak ko. Kamuray giilan, maupundang na, samtang sayo pa. Kay walay mo dapat sa sugal, maunay pinupun. Maupundang na, kay pilit na maayo. Pero kung bukong ka, buka ka sa buksultian, padayo. Kung gusto ka, magubat akong kinabuhi. Padayo. Pero usara ako may kunin mo, kung bukong ka, padayo. Kamuray inupunan, o kwarta. Nga, may kwartang uban, easy money. Easy money kay kapangilan lang ng tao. Tapos kung mamatay ko sa'yo, tungkol sa stress na wala ka kailan ka, huwag ka na. Kaya malay na dahil sa iba kong kapaagi. Kung gusto.
Kay 7 years old naman lagi akong gamangwangan nga anak mga inday. So ako siyang gitudluan og lungag sayo sa untag mga inday. So na perfect man sab niya. Iko lang natugod tudluan og pila ka sugod nga bugas ug tubig mga inday. O niya sa pagtang-ang ng food basic raman kayo dayo kay butin raman day. O mauna na resulta sa ako ang pagkaon mga inday. No mauna ang ihang lungag perfect man sab kayo day. Bit na ko siya. Bitaw mga inday no kato bitaw parehas na ko nga sayo nagbiga-biga o niya ang anak ko sayo mga inday. O niya anak ko na iniwang anak ko nga babae sa lalaki tudluin niya ng pagsuga sa pinggan, paglabas sa ilahang underwear mga inday. Practice naman gud na siya o niya lungag. Pagpanilig sa palibot, sa pamilo sa sirina. Basta tanan-tanan kita trabaho Chris balay ilabi ng babae mga inday. Kaya para inikanan ko nila na kasi mga tunan. Parehas aning sa ako aday giround tanang ulang tulog kay kanilang busy mo kay ko na inang tudloan na to sila kay bisan busy ko nga sa tanang lang lutuon sa kitulog lang tay magulog naman ay na lang inibangon na to na natay pakaon. Bitaw mga
Na 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 na
pagkaon ako
na 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 na.
Sky to 3-4 na lang sa comment section ang link. Basta ganito ko lang. So, matag.
Ever and ever, we stand together, standing.
Anong daghan man ang account? Dari?
Ano na ini siya? Nandito na ipang sablay saya kay makuyawan kay siya. Sakit na? Sakit niya na? No, mas makuyawan kay siya. Kato ka ate Gina, basayang kay tubag pa yung bracelet, bangkol. Banggol niya ba na?
Bawa na remate ra to. Wala mo baligi ang resibo ato.
Muro. Ya, 30 pa to sa una dawat ato. Karon times 2 na to ba? No? 60 na to ba? Sa una pa man to. Ya, 21 pa no? 21k to no? Kaya nga ato. Di ba to siya, dapat to siya sing-sing tanan diri oh. Nawala na.
Sa live ni.
Saan siya na? Highlight na. Ang live ba ni Upo siya bisuotin na ako na siya.
Ano ka na napod mo dire? Unsa naman po gituyo? Naman na magkaon unta.
Sabi yung sing-sing at tanan dari ba? No?
Kaya naghan kita followers na comment diri sa ato ang mga intay kag ilingaw na daw sila sa ako ang content nga kaon-kaon mga intay. So mauni siya ang part 2 sa katong pagluto namo sa pansit canton mga intay. Kaso ay nakita mga intay sa ato ang pagkaon-kaon diri ang lugi kinamot lang nako na siya kay syempre hindi man sa niya akong kamot day guwapa kay na siya dayon niya naghinangon la sa ko dira day. Inani man ko day inigkaon na mga intay last minute nagkutok kay kuno. O niya sa permero kaon na mo diya mga intay dili jud kay ko ma-enjoy kay syempre di makunsa.
May pagpandang kong sili dito. Ano to? Rakot niya pong kagsuhulan. Rakot niya pong...
Dahil kaya naa naman to diri sa lugar sa kumbana dahil naa diri ang mga balay nga nakauna jud ang mga balay dahil nga kapag pinaubra sa kumbana nga nang pa siya security dahil wala dito
Live
security.
dito tubig.
Wow. Kaya ako ang balay dahil
Ya, di man ta kabalo anak mo si Melia. Ino na kasi na. Harap ko yung sili. Di na kailangan natin manong. Di na naman abunuhan, no? Or abunuhan pa. Nay!
Oh,
Kana bang sili ba? Pwede ka na itanong dito sa ibabaw?
oh pwede. Nga naman, nakisili niya.
Wala po po'y sili. Di man
Pwede, basta.
may kabalo magsimilya, anak.
Oh, pwede man basta kay nanay. Makakuha na itong mga kahoy rito. Ito. Dagang pang kahoy. Banong na ko ito. Ito ko tanong na sa nag-isprayan daan. Ay, halita mo na.
Then ipainadlawan lang ba? Unsa na siya abunuhanan pa na?
Ay, hindi man. O, dito sa tambok-tambok na may tanong. Tungol pa. Oh, handong man. Kaya naman lubi. Sandong.
Mahal ra ba kang sili ron?
Mahal, 500 daw ang retail.
Gani.
Ay, ano po nawa na tayo sili. Wala na may katamnan sili ay kay parulihan na mong yaya ni mga printer dito sa gibuhat. Gibutangan na mong sili sa una.
Ngano man?
Ay, bisulan ka na mo. Iparulihan na lang na mo. Kalay. Nagmahurot ka ng kwarta. Ay, po na. Ilang man daw, walang pasan ka romantis, may ilang trabaho. Layan naman pa yung tatay dito. Then, among palit dito sa pang dito. Kalinsin ko na po dito.
Sa dapit.
Ito may lubi ba? Ito may marangan. Dito man ito.
Ato ilang siring?
Oo, ito may trabaho ng sitring sa una. Ito payag ni kuya ni mo. Itong sitbit ako dito, tabok sa sapa.
Kapakilid. Kapakilid man ato.
Kung na may lubi, bilang tuluan. Nang pwede may lubi, tapos marang. Binsing ko mo daw ito, ingan naman sa amin, butang ka. Yung karoon pang Abril, kaya karoon pang ikong Abril mo ka, kwarta. Kung anong 15, kajis man eh. Kung anong 15. Karoon pang Abril. Ingnan kita naman sa amin, kung idayon ba ko. Huwag ka iktar, binsing ko.
Taga-aman tagyana.
Taga na pulan, silingan na mo sa una. Taga na pulan. Silang sa amin naman mo. At itong bang tagay. Barkada na anong sa amin sa una. Hindi naman nag-abot sa mga sa una. Ulit ako na sila. Hindi ka pa. Wala pa yung papel ngayon. Tama. Wala yung papel.
Sabot-sabot. Sabot-sabot ra.
Sabot-sabot. Wala pa na. Kung dito ba na? Saan eh?
Ya, ang buwis anak.
Wala yung buhis ko. Wala nga sa papel. Alam mo na. Kung dito sa munisipyo. Saan eh? Sige na na. Wala na kita. Sa munisipyo ba? Wala kasi papel. Wala na siya. Kaning sa mga ang pulang-pula.
Hindi mo nag-20.
Huwag lang. Ano ba? Yung nakikita.
Okay, wala may. Ino ni mo kay wala man ni papel di. Unsa man nimo pagkay balog duha ni ka hektar. Nga wa man ni papel di ay.
Wala ra dispor guro na ila. Sino sa amin masuito na?
Imo patakagpalit og kuan oy walay tarong kuan kay.
Ang ganyan ko lang tingin dito sa
Napalay mangusog mga anak-anak niya.
Sa kagihan niya ni Magalina na. Ako na ano sa ito sa dahon.
ay, so,
Nganong wala pa mananauli imong upo nga dugay naman na.
Mga gani, amot lang no sa ni. Binahan man.
Sige puguro kag inom og bugnaw.
Wala man.
Napay mong tambal.
Korok na. Oh, teman. 30 ra kita ko.
tambal eh.
Ha?
Pulang ang tambal.
Pagungol ba kasi sige inom tambal. Dagko pa kaya.
Nahuton man gyud to kay antibiotic man na.
Nahurot na gani. Wala na. Ang vitamin sila nabili.
Pa-check up og kuan oy lain nga kanang singanan ni para sa basig TB na na.
Okay, okay, wala ang tina. Sa dao ko lagi kumadsaan. Ha?
Wa to kag dao. Kadali ra man anang dao. Dali ra man ang dao pod.
Sa piang guro na na ko eh.
Ay ipahilot na. Kulang kag hilot. Panuhot sad na.
No, gani.
Pahilot ay tuod na kay kanang kang Ruel ingon ana na basta ubon siya dugay kay mawala.
Ingon ko butang.
Mao gali sa piang siguro na nimo pahilot ipahilot na. Kay si Ruel inana pod basta mag-ubo.
Okay na ni, bulan na ni kapin.
Kato day ako unsa man day ito nga pite man dugaya bulan mo to kapin.
Wala ka dyan. Nanapod.
Ipahilot gina kay sagol na panuhot.
Okay. Buksan na gali kong ligo. Eh, tuloy ko. Sa una, kada alas 3 kong ligo. Alas 3, alas 4.
Panuhot gani na no.
Pero wala na kong ligo-ligo. Awa pang ligo ko. Pero wala. Eh, upo man ko.
Panuhot gani na, panuhot.
Sulay pa kong inang o katong tanggal sa ronte. Basta niya kung ko. Kapagalitan niya. Ngaya ko naman ka.
Wala na, inom lang na.
Kung nawala naman akong hangat punta ko. Hangat ko ko itong mga naman. Tapos ka itong ginawa. Inom ko itong vitamin. Nga, banana ang kulibo. Alas, ito kulibo. Huwag ka nang bula-bula. Dahil, lima. Wala ko nga. Vitamin ko nila. Kami din nasa isipi. Vitamin. Wala ko nga. Pero pala yung pag-ora ko. Napa dyan.
TV, mangguro na. Inana, beto kang Marilyn. Itong TV siya.
Pagod ba siya?
Oh, hagaw-haw yan tingog.
Hadla. Hindi mo ko pala inom.
Palainom ba dahil si Marilyn? Sa stress niya, sa stress.
Oy. Ano pa?
Makakuan, mangguna basta ma-stress ka. Mag-uol.
Tigulan.
Kana dahil si Aya, oh, manginginom din na si Aya, nga di man.
Ang tumay tigulan ko.
Hago, trabaho.
Ato, kasago. Hindi ko ko nanago ron. Ibo na noon.
Natingog.
Muna sa una no. Gusto mo kaway. Piang guro. Ako hilutan niya akong bukan.
Ipahilot na sa mga hilot yun.
Gusto na nagdulot. Pero wala man. Si Manolo.
Manolo.
Si Pare. Wala na po. Kaya naman sa dukan.
Ano rin nasa dughan?
Kaya natin. Wala po. Pre, look, ko pre. Ano ka dito?
Oh,
Wala po. Wala po. Pero hindi ba? Ay, si Anay, may kapalito. Si Anay.
si Hulit di ay, si Hulit.
Oh, si Manding din. Si Anay din.
Na sinunong dia, mato day mo dito kadjot na sinunong dia, mapato day ka dito.
Si Manding.
Oh,
Oh, mana?
kaduol ra ana.
Wala si Manding na, atas ba?
Ay karon gani ka madto or mapsa nimo. Kay gabi eh.
Abdan, nagulan? Nag-o kaya? Sulu-sulu lagi yang lebih sedang. Nggak boleh tiba, no? Apa sih jadi? Kita ada pun ya.
Kisa manay?
Si ini,
Si?
ini,
Kisa dini.
ini anak Manding.
Monday nga.
Boleh.
Kisa man ato si?
Si ini dan ini.
Aw, nang sa di ay?
Ini ko anak maglusnya.
Napod?
Tumpong ko niya.
Ala. Wagay ayo. Hala. Kabuang. Kabuang yun niya yun. Sige na. Ipapa na ba? Ipaadto nagdaon ng ubo ni mo ay. Mayabang stage.
Kinsa?
Mimi, YouTube. What is how to finance? What is how to finance? Good evening, guys. Takop kag manok? Wa kay ayo. Kung may padaghanon, way ayo gyud. Sao na lang man ay. Hindi kita pwedeng iwanan, hindi kita pwedeng pigilan. Paglalaban kita kahit hanggang kamatayan man. Kung mawawalay sa'yo, mahal na mahal kita dito sa aking puso. Oh. Ikaw lang nag-iisa ang aking sa kalibutan. Inahanra ang ating tay, sa loob umiiyak na ikaw at ako ay hindi na. Minsan pa ang hintay ang malilito. Sa loob umiiyak na ikaw at ako. Lagi tawag inana. Ano ba na ito? Mahilabot lagi. Mahilabot ko. Mangubi ko.
O din na mamini sa Manila.
Itong ingon ako sa unang mamahiling nga iduot kay niya ang kuan ba? Sa iyang.
Yan. Tama na.
Oh. Wala siya. Yun na siya. Di ko maintindihan sino pang nagmamahal, siya pang nag-iwan. Huwag man ang ulit ng mga bata agabiin naman. Siya pang nag-iwan. Hay mo cellphone.
Charge.
Ang baby, bari i-charge you. Mana uli isinanay sa iyang ubo eh. Si TV na ba?
ate na yung buke.
Dito, Ray.
Ha?
Dito, Ray.
O may kwarta pa dala ni. Sino may padala?
Ay, uno. Ihatod ra dito sa ilahan, no? Anak na lang. Ihatod dito sa ilahan, kuan. Ilang tindahan. I surrender.
Ang balik yung tubig. Hose.
Ah! Laba!
Bata po, pakulion.
Dara, yun ka? Please don't come home. Oh, oh, eh. So serious.
Hunaw, hunaw.
Panghunaw.
Ah, ito na yung Jollibee.
Panghunaw.
Ah, Jollibee! Ilag ka ba? Alam ka, magbuan. Taguan, Jollibee. Abi na ko wala Jollibee. Ay, inasa na kami.
Panghunaw, sabi ang
Hunaw, hunaw.
kamot.
Hunaon dali. Luwas. Pangkignaw.
Cecilia, you're breaking my heart, shaking my confidence there. Oh, Cecilia. Looks like this
Ito.
will
Ako.
never make it. Still together, still going strong. You're still around,
Yun Mama.
the one that I belong
Try to ko.
to you.
Di ba, Be? Iring, iring.
Wanang agate! Nairing! Meme! Shh! Meme! Meme!
Simula. Bagay.
This morning,
Kaya nga, tissue ni mo.
that is court.
Tissue.
By drone
Tissue na
report
yun.
also serves as a
Saan na?
military so that's part of the Iranian
Chicken.
response. Well, I think from a practical point of view, most of these missiles
Na,
have
na,
been
na,
intercepted
na,
across the Gulf and they won't be shot out of the air, but there has been some damage, there have been some injuries, and a few deaths. And most significantly, I think there's been a real disruption to the Gulf, which, you know,
Wala
provides
akong
itself with
magagawa.
economy built on oil exports and tourism and finance and travel. All of that has been disrupted. The state of Hormuz, through which oil exports go, is largely inoperable at the moment.
Kung alam mo lang sana.
Many of them have been canceled, airports stopped. And the Gulf countries, this is a scenario that they had warned the Americans about. And you said they were very much at the forefront of trying to mediate a peaceful solution to this. They had been improving relations with Iran in recent years, reducing the tensions. They had been speaking to both Iranian officials and American ones in the past couple of months, trying to
Dire ba?
Inasal.
They reserve the right to respond. What exactly
Isip ba?
that might look like, I think,
Sige na punti. Meron tama.
Sa dagat.
how long this lasts, how much damage Iran can inflict. And crucially, there's this uncertainty now, given that the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, has been killed, certainly for Iran, but also for the region, as to what changes in that country will mean for stability in the wider area. I wanted to bring you some news on what is happening in terms of UK involvement or not involvement with what's happening in Iran. We've now heard that the UK military in the region has been reported safe and accounted for. This from my colleague Jonathan Beale, who said since yesterday morning, Iran has launched 25 waves of missile and drone attacks against targets across Israel, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait and Iraq. Yesterday, British military personnel based at a US base in Bahrain were within 200 meters of Iranian and drone missile strikes. Around 300 UK military personnel are based there, but all are reported safe and accounted for. Also yesterday, a British counter drone unit based in Iran intercepted an Iranian drone that was heading towards a coalition base housing UK military personnel, British military personnel in Iran, who were stationed there as part of a long-standing counter-ISIS mission within 400 meters of Iranian.
It's it dinner, guys.
Safe.
It's it, it's it, it's it.
That is the very latest that we're getting from UK. And just very briefly, just to bring you another update. We mentioned this before, but again, we are hearing from Iranian state media that Ayatollah Ali Reza Khamenei has been named as the person who will be leading the leadership council in the search for a new Ayatollah, a new supreme leader in Iran, that is after the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We'll have a little bit more information, hopefully having more of an idea of who Ayatollah Arafat is and what this means in a few minutes' time. But first, let's go back to the UK because the Defence Secretary, John Healey, has said that he is concerned Iran across the Middle East are putting British personnel and British people at risk. He was speaking to my colleague, Laura Koonsberg, on the death of Supreme Leader Khamenei.
Mama, walang may chicken.
His death leaves those friends and families of the tens of thousands of young protesters that were murdered on the streets of Iran in recent months. But make no mistake, this is a regime that he has run for decades as a source of evil. It has murdered its own citizens, it's exported terror, including to Britain. And my concern now is the increasingly indiscriminate attacks from Iran. Widely across the Middle East, putting British personnel, British people, civilians at risk. And so my first job as Defence Secretary is to protect those British people, civilians and military, our British bases, reinforce regional security and do all we can to prevent further regional escalation.
As the Defence Secretary John Healey there talking to my colleague Laura Koonsberg, let's bring you some more on that breaking news from Pakistan. Authorities are saying 9 people have been killed after pro-Iranian protesters clashed with police in US southern city of Karachi. Police fired tear gas to disperse a crowd trying to storm the consular building following news of the death of the Ayatollah Khamenei in those US and Israeli military strikes. With the latest from Lahore is BBC Urdu's Tahir Ashkar. After the death of Ayatollah Khamenei, protests erupted in different cities of Pakistan, especially 2 big cities, Lahore and Karachi. Right now I'm in Lahore, and we're also seeing a huge number of hundreds of people sitting outside of US consulate protesting, and most of the people, they belong to a Shia community. Similarly, 2 hours before in Karachi, protests erupted and the turned into a violent protest. Bullets used force, used tear gas. Also, the protesters are alleging that they have been using bullet shots. So a lot of people got injured and many people died. The force is still there, police force is there, security forces are there to stop protesters while they try to enter in the United States. Still, the situation is not as under control, whereas the authorities are claiming that protesters are away from the U.S. countries. Cities, protests are being observed in Lahore and in Karachi as well.
Ikaw ang gali. Binlan pa na ko si Pap Tao.
Meron sa and we spoke talking about how the latest situation in Iran following the Israeli airstrikes there.
It could potentially get a whole lot hotter. Could get a whole lot worse this because clearly the Iranians are absolutely livid about this. The Islamic Republic regime, although of course many of its citizens, many of Iran's citizens are thrilled about this and have been cheering and celebrating because he represented so much of the aggression that has ended up killing so many of their relatives in the previous month, couple of months. I think a lot depends on how much weaponry Iran has got left. It has promised a regret-inducing punishment, as it puts it, and there are ways in which Iran could lash out at the US naval force that is this armada that is offshore, although that armada has got and very good defences. One of the things that the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps Navy has been practicing for years is something called swarm attacks, and that's where they try to overcome the defences of a warship, a single warship, with a lot of cruise missiles. The sheer number, the sheer volume overcomes the defences. Now, if they could sink a US Navy warship, that would be a huge blow. Even though the retaliation from President Trump would be huge, and indeed President Trump has threatened them this morning, today, don't even think of hitting back. But
Which one? Mas mahal ang ano rin kaysa sa dali anda.
Ano yun? 100 kasi.
Ang diba?
189, 185.
This is chicken, inasal.
Basta pa. Ang luto.
Chicken inasal.
Luto of drinks. 1 pa.
Mayor, sino ang kuhaan ka ng dos?
Ano ito siya?
Mayor?
Wala girl. Kabalo ito siya.
Nabuyo siya ito. Wala ang tinta na.
Luto sa ba?
Mama!
Saan yung nakapaluto? Ano?
Ang Monday, nagiging Monday, Tuesday. Sarap yung master fully made chicken cut. Pinaka-juicy from the marinade to the seasoning. Pinaka-crispy from the breading to the topping. The best tasting yummy noodles. Kaya, kapag chicken cut, wala ka magkain.
Naman yung bagturon.
Bumali na naman ito.
Kung gaya mo uli. Uyo. Dagan kayo.
Hello guys, kamusta? Na-miss you me? Oo nga pala, nakalike na pa kayo sa video na to. Kung hindi pa, huwag mo kalilimutan, pindutin ang like button dyan. At syempre, mag-subscribe na rin kayo para naman masaya. Ano kaya mga kulang pa rito? Parang
Alungan ng TV.
Dito eh.
Gusto
Ay,
ko dili.
talagang Demi. Bigyan mo na.
Nicole!
Oh,
Eh, baka pwede bumili ka naman ng cake sa labas. Ako, bibili
ano
na.
man?
Sige na.
Dire, balik ka o dire.
Ano man?
Sige na tong Demi. Sige ka, hindi matutuloy yung birthday party natin pag di ka bumili ng cake.
Liha mo ato dito.
Pero isa-isang
Alungan
condition.
ng TV.
Ano naman yun? Bibigyan mo ako ng pambili ng
Sige,
cake. Tang Demi. Ikaw talaga. Lagot ka sa akin, Tang Demi, pag nahuli kita. Sige na nga, aalis na ako. Wow, Serena, ang ganda naman ng bahay mo. Kasing ganda mo. Siyempre naman, hindi pwedeng pangit. Ikaw, nasaan naman ang bahay mo? Yung bahay ko ba? Ay, mamaya pumunta tayo doon. Mas maganda rin yun. Ipagluluto rin kita ng cookie. Yes.
Palunga na yun.
Ayan. O sige. Tara, pupunta tayo. Uy, kapitbayan na kami yan. Ganda ng bahay nila. Hello. Ako nga pala si Tagdin.
Uy, dugo mo na. Uy.
Dire. Wa nang live dire.
Dito oh. Kinatong yan.
Dire,
Hay, age! Halikaon kay naay klase ugma. Dakot sa. Dali, dakot sa unsa man. Dakot ba sa? Unsa? Gani, unsa ka dakot? Aw.
Ito ko lang ang dako.
Hi, Benjamin. Hit the likes, guys. Good evening. Pati lang.
Si ate.
Si ate lang.
Karon na.
Iday ba? Lagit naman ako ng dito. Kasi ikaw nung dito. Ano nila? Hindi mo makaon. Heart. Isabnan imong kamot wala. Thank you sila.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama.
Tapos pa. 119, hello. Good evening. Tap tap guys. Pagpilan na sa dumalinaw.
Bayad ko ba?
Pero pa kung hatag mo.
160.
200 pa kung hatag mo.
160 po.
Grabe yun ko, Ma. Wala mong gusto na baan ni mo, men. Wala mong gusto
Kumain na yung loto eh. Okay, tingnan. Tama.
Nagari na yan. Enjoy na po sila sa mga. Ay, unya na yung ng kuang kani. Ay, nakakaulog.
Ano?
125, good evening. Ay, tanawa, bulingot ka ayaw. Kaluhan pa mag iring. Sabi naman yan. Second batch. Na may pisa. Ang idib mo ito. 118, good evening. Give me thumbs up, guys. Murag i-inject ang kuha na ba? Timpla doon. Kaya i-inject eh. Ganyan na ibangat ako. Or sa tulungan. Nung aso na? 112, good evening. Good evening. Linton, hello. So tell me my life, where you want me to.
Gani hata mo nanayaw. Karon gabi na.
What is that girl feeling? What is that feeling? Where is your anak?
Saw himself as God's representative on earth. He came to power in 1989 after the death of Ayatollah Khomeini, who'd founded the Islamic Republic 10 years earlier, becoming political and religious leader for life. Ali Khamenei is said to have been his preferred choice of successor, and he continued its antagonism towards the West. He'd grown up in the city of Mashhad and became a cleric at a young age, but not one of huge consequence. And as supreme leader, he had to build his power base. He did so by aligning himself with Iran's hardline military force,
Ask your anak.
the Revolutionary Guard. In 1997, when a moderate cleric, Mohammad Khatami, was elected president, Ayatollah Khamenei overruled his attempts to reform the system. It was he, not the president, who would decide the nation's fate. In 2009 came the first major challenge to his regime. Mass protests in response to a presidential election that many Iranians felt was stolen by the system in favour of a conservative candidate. The regime responded with deadly force, crushing the demonstrations, provoking international alarm. Then came an even bigger threat to the Islamic Republic, an uprising led by women, challenging one of the pillars of the regime, the hijab. It was sparked by the death of a young woman in custody, and again the response was a brutal crackdown. Ayatollah Khamenei blamed the unrest, as he always did, on outsiders, Iran's old enemies, the US, and of course Israel. But he was becoming increasingly unpopular. Economic protests, which broke out in December 2025, quickly spiraled into nationwide fury and decades of repression by the regime, headed by him. He chanted death to the dictator, referring to Ayatollah Khamenei. With thousands killed in the uprising, hatred of him only grew. One hugely unpopular policy of his rule was Iran's sponsorship of a network of proxy forces, chief of them, Hezbollah in Lebanon, meant to act as a deterrent to any Israeli attack. But what Iran called the Axis of Resistance was dramatically weakened in the wake of the 2023 Hamas attack on Israel, leaving Iran critically exposed. For the outside world, Iran's nuclear program was a constant concern that prompted crisis after crisis. In 2015, Ayatollah Khamenei would authorize a deal to curb the regime's nuclear activities in return for the lifting of sanctions.
In the years since the deal was signed, Iran's aggression only increased.
But Donald Trump then pulled out of the agreement in 2018 during his first presidency, and the following year Iran began ramping up its production of enriched uranium to a level close to weapons grade. It always claimed it wanted the program for civilian purposes, not a bomb. But Israel and the US didn't believe it and bombed key nuclear sites last June. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was an ideologue who refused to yield to the pressure bearing down on him from outside the country and within. To the end, he remained a hardline defender of the Islamic Republic at great cost to so many Iranians, increasingly desperate to be freed from his rule. Caroline Williams.
Well, let's cross line now and speak to Dr. Rowena Binti Abdul Razak, a lecturer in the history of the Middle East and Africa at SOAS University of London. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us on Singing. Let me start by asking you how momentous a time is this, do you think, for the Middle East now in its history?
Thank you so much for having me. It is quite momentous. First thing I will say though is Khomeini's death, while shocking in its, in the way it was carried out, was terribly surprising. He was already 86. We were all waiting for him to eventually pass on. Maybe not in this particular way, but at the same time, it was something that was already on the cards in many ways. And the fact that they've already come up with a very quick solution means that there was already a kind of succession plan plan in place. For the Middle East, and particularly for the region, it's very striking because Iran has now retaliated against the Gulf states. This is something quite new. They're no longer
Wala naman na.
targeting
Uy,
US
motor
military
naman na.
bases. So there is a very likely chance that it might spiral into more instability as well as increased tensions in the immediate region of the Gulf.
In what sense? How do you think things could get worse?
It could get worse if the UAE in particular retaliates by attacking Iran directly. This is not unlikely, but at the same time we know that Oman and Qatar, the two countries who have been spearheading for a diplomatic solution, have also called for negotiations to continue. If they keep their level head and people kind of follow, and the other countries follow their lead, it might not escalate. But at the same time, it's not unlikely forces against Iran or the UAE themselves getting involved directly.
Yeah, and of course, if that carries on, that escalation carries on, it could have some pretty catastrophic consequences.
It could definitely have more casualties, which is obviously something no one wants. It could also cause, we're already seeing the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. We're seeing traffic in the Straits of Hormuz being halted in many ways. So this could also lead to economic chaos as well. We're obviously seeing chaos in terms of travel and in terms of airspace being closed. So you can already see the chaos ensuing. Catastrophic, one really, really hopes not. And at the same time, we hope that this will be a limited regional conflict.
I want to go back to what you said at the beginning about the Supreme Leader and the fact that there were people waiting for him to basically die. There is a different vibe, isn't there, when someone is killed in this way, and a different kind of power play. And I think it's important to underline that he was obviously killed by Israeli and US. Does that not make it have a different feel to it in terms of the consequences?
Definitely, it forces a change. It forces a change that maybe was going to happen eventually, but it forces for change to happen at a time when the Islamic government was already on shaky ground. It's built on quite shaky legitimacy at this point, especially after the years of protests that the Iranian government has been facing from its people. At the same time, it's also going to really put to the test how resilient the Islamic government has, because it has shown resilience over the years despite loss of regional allies and so on. Yeah, so we'll have to just see. But of course, it has been
what I'm trying to get at is that if your Supreme Leader is killed by foreign forces, that kind of shows, in a way, a weakness within the regime, right? Rather than if he died by natural causes. The deaths are very different in how they kind of expose the vulnerabilities of the regime, right?
Of course, and it speaks very much to the lack of security forces. Everyone's wondering why Khamenei was still in his residence at this very critical time. Everyone knew that an attack was coming at some point, and the US and Israel had not been hiding the fact who they were targeting, targeting, and so on. So it is quite surprising. And yes, of course, this is definitely an exposure of its vulnerability. And as I said, has forced Iran to look for this new succession plan that it's been looking at for many years now.
Dr. Marina Binti Abdul Razak from SOAS, University of London, it's been so good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Airlines serving the Middle East have cancelled or diverted many flights after the US and Israel launched those deadly strikes on Iran. British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, Wizz Air, they're amongst the carriers to pare back their scheduled destinations in the Middle East, citing safety concerns. Well, this has caused chaos across the region, with passengers stranded and unable to reach their destination. Well, let's cross live to our correspondent Barry Caffrey, who is at Heathrow Airport. Barry, what's the situation in terms of flights and airlines going in and out of those Middle East regions?
Hi, Mariam. Yes, well, as you said, at Heathrow Airport, a number of flights have been cancelled. Etihad, Emirates, Qatar Airways, British Airways and Virgin Atlantic have all cancelled flights to Dubai, as well as Doha and Abu Dhabi, and flights to Tel Aviv as well. And that is the situation right across the UK. But in relation to those three main Middle East hub airports, Doha, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, there were usually 2,500 flights a day from those three hub airports, and that represents approximately 500,000 passengers every 24 hours. having their plans disrupted. Of course, the planes are not able to fly over Iranian or Iraqi airspace, and even people that are travelling from further afield, for example, if they were in Bangkok or somewhere like Australia trying to get back to London and they're connecting via Dubai, well, those flights will be cancelled. Now, many passengers will be wondering what to do. The situation depends whether or not you're travelling with a European or a non-European airline. So if you're travelling with someone like British Airways or Virgin Atlantic trying to get back to London, then that airline is responsible for getting you back here. If you are travelling with a non-European airline, well, the advice is to check with that airline. In some cases, they will try and get you back, but they're not legally obligated to do so if you're based here in the UK, and the advice would be to check with your travel insurance. But if this disruption continues for the coming days, we could see a similar scale that we had with the volcanic ash clouds, people may remember, back in 2010. But at the moment, tens of thousands of passengers right around the world affected at those three key Middle East airports, Doha, Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Normally 2,500 flights a day from those three hubs, around 500,000 passengers that are having their plans completely disrupted by this situation.
Do we know time frame wise how long this will carry on for? Do we have any idea?
At the moment, Marianne, we don't have an idea. Dubai International Airport have completely suspended operations there. They've said that they are monitoring the situation. All of the airlines I mentioned, including British Airways and Virgin Atlantic here in the UK, a number of those airlines have cancelled flights to Tel Aviv for the next couple of days. And we're expecting cancellations to the region, to Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Doha also for the coming days. We're expecting an update from Qatar Airways who operate out of Doha. But the expectation is that this disruption will last at least for the coming days.
Sorry, thank you very much indeed for that. Well, let's stick with those travelling in and out of the region. About an hour ago, we were speaking to three people who are in the Middle East region right now. We're talking to us about what they've experienced. Let's bring them back. We were interrupted last time. Stevie George, who's returned to Bahrain, where he used to own a bar. We also have John Henry, who is in Doha on holiday, and Trevor Davies, who is on holiday and staying at the Atlantis, the Palm. Thank you, all of you, for joining me once again after we were interrupted last time. So, Stevie, if I can go to you first, just explain to viewers who may have just joined us what your situation is. And, you came back to Bahrain, and this must be, quite frightening to hear these sirens and these explosions.
Well, it is, especially when you're unsure of what is going to follow. The sirens do go off, the alerts go on, the mobile phones, very efficient. So you're aware something is going to happen. And then there's a delay, there's a silence, and you're sort of waiting to see if anything's going to be near you or further across the island. Luckily, I'm in Jaffa, I'm in the area that a lot of people have been asked to leave. And we're not far from the 5th Fleet base. But to be fair, there was one huge explosion yesterday, and then a lot of it has been smaller, localised explosions and drones hitting not only military bases, but residences, civilian residences and hotels in the area. So it's that silence that is the brightening part of the day.
Ang alcohol, Chelsea,